Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We are going to begin soon. Let's see how many more can join before we start. Can someone confirm if I'm audible enough? Hello. Do I have people on this call? I can say I have one person. Oluwanimi Praise. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. I have just two people on call. The rest are AI meeting note taker. You're welcome, Aisha.
Good
Let's see how
afternoon,
many
sir.
more. Good afternoon. So we can begin straight up. Good afternoon, Evans. Welcome.
Afternoon, sir.
So 3 minutes down already. We'll start soon. All right, let's begin. So from our last meeting, we were able to explain joins. We talked about primary key and foreign key and how we can use it to join more than two tables or two or more tables. We also talked about functions, talked about the count function, the round function, minimum, maximum, average functions. So to proceed, I do like to ask us about the assignment. Were we able to do it? Did we encounter any challenge in the process? Do we have any question regarding the assignment? I know I put the answers there, so many people might feel reluctant to. I have my reason for that. The last one I gave, we are mostly concerned about making the code run. In analysis or in SQL, it's not just about the code. Your code might run correctly and but generate different results. So I might not be able to assess everybody's work. That's why I had to put the solutions to each exercise. So you wouldn't need to wait until I give solution or I give comments before you make correction. So despite that, you should still save your work in .sql as documentation. So you can upload it in your repository, whether it is GitHub or whether you are using Google Drive to save your work. You can add that to your CV or as a reference to experience. So that is why. So I want to believe every one of us on this meeting have done that. Did we? Please let's give response. I'll know what I'm dealing with. Did we do the assignments? Did you do the exercises? There's no time. There's no time. Please let's give
Sir,
response
no,
so we can.
sir. No, sir, because I saw the solution, I ran a few on my system, but I was not able to complete the rest or save it as a document also.
Okay. Um. Okay. You and I. At least you made an attempt. That's a good one. But I don't want you seeing the solution. I don't want it to discourage you from actually solving the problem. Do you get? Because mostly the way I learned most of my skills are self-dependent learning. Fine, I learned in a virtual classroom like this also, from machine learning to analysis. You get, but you have to be disciplined. Even though I know the answers are just right in my next chapter, I attempt the question, relate why I'm not getting the answer to, or relate my answers with the answers the instructors are giving. By that I'll improve on my own skill. You get. In fact, another way to improve on one skills is also to assist those that are having challenge. I can see many of us are not doing that. In my own time, whenever there's no community I find myself or I'm learning, I will always be assisting because I know from assisting people, I add to my knowledge. Do you get? I add to my knowledge. If I had some challenges they bring say that I've not tackled before, I'll get to expose myself to them. That's added experience. So please, that I don't like the way we are all quiet. Many people do ask question in the group, but we don't lend supporting hand. So please let's do that, especially those that are still having challenge installing their software. Let's assist them. Some are chatting me personally, but I can't respond to everybody. Fine, I do respond, but it might not be immediately as they need that solution. But if they had dropped it in a group, people would have assisted. So please let's all try to be helping friends. So that is what I want to say. So I'll continue with this class. Today will be the last day for SQL. So from next week we'll be moving into spreadsheets. So this is what I'm trying to add now. I want to use, since we have 8 weeks, we have 8 weeks. We have 8 weeks for this boot camp. So I want to split it into 2 weeks. I want to add one more tool, which is Python. Even though I'm not going to go deep into that Python because of time frame, I will take maybe pandas for data analysis. So in case you want to um, deal with very large data, spreadsheet might not be the best way to handle such data. So you need a programming language to do that. So I'll just use that to give introduction. At least after this bootcamp, and you can build more on your knowledge, add more, keep reading, right? After today's class, that's not the end of SQL. SQL continues. There are many things to learn. So let's have the attitude of continuous learning, right? So keep learning. The materials I'm sending you are from Udacity. They are my paid course. They were my paid course in Udacities that I'm sharing. Many of us that have been to Udacity, you will have been familiar with that database we are using, which is Patch and Posy. So at least you have the privilege to learn it for free while you are in MLSA bootcamp. So those are their materials. I have to give credit to where I got those materials from. So let's proceed to this work. Let's start our PG Admin 4. Those of you that are having challenge installing, please send your challenge to the group. Let others assist them. You don't need to send them personally to only me, to me alone. Let's share our burden to neighbors so that we can get help. So thank you so much. Today we'll talk about something interesting. Although everything we've talked about were interesting anyway, very few commands, but super powerful. You can see the analysis we've made so far. Very, very powerful analysis. Um, we'll complete some maybe one function, or I think data and time function I have in my notes today. We'll also talk about how to use case statements. Then we talked about subquery. And if there is still time, we'll talk about CTE, which is the common table expression. Then we end SQL class. That is 2 weeks class for SQL. All right, let's begin. I connect my server. Okay, why this is loading for now. I don't know why it's taking so much time. Why is it taking so much time to connect? Let me just let's continue. So further it might have opened. Let me share my notes so you can all see what I'm doing. So still on function. So we'll talk about the date strong. The date strong function in Postgres um, is used to extract some information or some date parts in our data set. Let's take some example. I need to quickly reload my pgadmin 4. It's not loading and it's wasting my time. While I'm doing my place, you can also be loading your application. System seems to be hanging. Apologies for the delay, just trying to work out some things on my system. All right, I'm having a little issue with my system, but let's just begin. So the date part can be used for pulling a specific portion of. All right. Now this is an example here. Let's assume we want to find sales. Find the sales in terms of total dollars for all orders in each year. So that is the total dollars for all orders in each year. I want to order it from the biggest amount to the lowest amount. So to do that, the code is already written here. Well, I don't have my PG admin to run that because it's not loading up. Okay. As you can see, so we have select, then the date part is the function there. We put what we want to extract. We can either extract the day, the year, or the month. So we put, since we extract the year, according to the question, per year. So we put year there. And there's a column called occurred at in our orders. Please get familiar with your schema. I keep saying this so that you know how the columns and tables that are in the database you are working with. So occurred at. So here I realize it as odd year. All right. And also we want to get the sum total amount USD. We want to sum it up for each year. Then we realize it as total spent. And of course, you are used to this from others. Now, this is that might be news to some of you. Group by one. Before now, we've been using group by. We put the name of the column. Let's assume we want to group by this particular column. So we say group by date part. We put the whole of this command here. But in this case, I can use just number. This is 1. Then the other column derived here is 2. So if I say group by 1, that means I'm grouping by the year. If I say group by 2, that means I'm grouping by the this. Now, what is group by? How do we use it? Because so far we've been saying only order by. Let me quickly. I think my PG admin has loaded, so you can see by illustration. Good. So I need to share this. Just hang in there for me, please. All right. I believe you can now see my PG admin workspace. So I'm connecting to database now. I have it in Patch and POSI. Okay, let me test if this is where actually my database is. Let me say select or from orders. Let me run this. Okay, it's not in this particular database. Connect to this. Created so many redundant databases here because of explanation. I keep repeating the process. Yes, I should have my data here. All right, this is this database where I have my data. So now A quick revision. How do we use group by? Many of you are already used to order by. Let's assume I want to select. Sorry, somebody should give me 2 columns we have in our orders table quickly. So that to know that whether you are following me or not. 2 columns in our orders table, please. Do I have people on this call?
Quantity,
I'm with you.
Okay, so 2 columns in our orders table. I don't think many of you get what we are actually doing. I need you to be. Excuse me?
I said
I couldn't get that. Standard quantity, right? Okay. That'll be STANDARD, standard QTY. And what?
plus
I can't hear you. You are not audible enough.
gloss quantity.
Thank you so much. And gloss quantity, QTY. Now let's assume I want to find the sum of the whole standard quantity, right? Once you run this, let me select from orders, right? Once you run this, it's going to generate error. Why? Because this is an aggregate function, and this will generate one return, that is a vector value, or maybe a scalar point value, that is just one value. Why this will generate series of values. So in that case, it's not going to know how to output it. So you have to aggregate, you have to group by a particular the non-aggregate function. So when you have a function like this, you have to group by the non-function. So you have to use group by. So you group by, I can type the whole of this. I want to go by this column here, right? But just as I've explained, I can, instead of typing the whole of this, I can say 1. I can use this one as 2. So group by 1. So when I say group by 1, so I mean group by this. When I say group by 2, I mean group by this. Naturally, you should always group by the non-aggregate function. Once one is aggregate, group by the non-aggregate. So if I run this now, then you will see select some QTY. Good. So you can see. So these are all the sum of the QTY. We have grouped by each. Do you understand? That is how to use group by. Whenever there is a function, aggregate function, you must always use group by function. It is a must. All right. And if there are more than one, let's say I have total amount USD, total AMT USD. You must also group by you only group by gross amount in this case. So since you have added one more, you must also group by the third one too. Once you fail to group by the third column, it will also generate error. So to correct that, you must go by 2. 2 in this case is gross QTY, then comma 3. 3 in this case is total amount USD. So if you run this, then you have our result. Are we together? I think that explains go by function. So moving on to the next is yes, I was trying to explain the select date parts. I mean the date parts function. Let me copy the question so you can understand what we're trying to solve. So I'll use comments here. So we want to find the total sales in terms of total dollars for all orders in each year So we want to order from the greatest to the least. Take note. So we are using the date part function here. What are we extracting? We're extracting each year. Which column contains the date? The occurred heart column contains the date in the others. So we alias this. Many of you might be very convenient with using has, not that convenient. Just put space. So use as ORD. Then also the sum of total per year, since we are doing per year. So I'm aliasing that too as, let me break this down into, so also sum total as. So if I run this, take notes, I'm grouping by one. What is one? One is the column that has no function, which is date part. The second column here I have here is sum, so it's an aggregate function. So I cannot go by this. I have to go by this particular column here I'm generating. Now, since we are told to order, so we use a clause. So what am I ordering by? I want to order by the amount. So I'm ordering by this amount is 2 in this case. So I'm ordering from highest to lowest. I have to put descending. So if I run this now, I have should work. That's good. So you can see my uh, sum of amount per year. So 2016, the total amount was this. 2015, total amount. In this case, you can notice that it is not array organized by the year. And if I say order by one, one here is containing the dates. Then I'm going to have, in this case, just I don't know why that is to happen most times. Let's rerun that. You have your output. You can see downward 2017, 2016. So that is how to answer that question. So does anyone have question relating to that? No question. So I'll proceed. Next, is now to go to case. Now, the case statement or the case clause, you always use it with the select. Let's assume we have several conditions, right? The best thing is to use example. To use example. Let me copy the question and paste. I should break this down. So we want to create a column that divides the standard amount USD by the standard quantity to find the unit price. We've done something like this. If you did the first tax I gave you, so I have to limit the result of the first, including this. Okay, it's not showing. All right, so this is the question. You can read through the question. So to get the solution, this is the solution. Without those of us that did the first assignment, you might have recalled this. All right, so this is how we solved it then. All right. So we selected ID, account ID, then standard amount USD divided by the standard quantity to get the unit price, right? Then we from orders, then we limit to 10. I will run this and we have this actually has no error. Just try to, this is the unit price for each of the standard quantity paper. Do we get that? So now let us use case to solve this particular problem now. I want to solve this particular problem in another format using case as an introduction to case. Now to do this, I will paste this. Now look at how we solve this now. So we say select the account ID. Of course, we are selecting the ID. Now, in this place, if I did not limit, you know what, let me just return back to. If I did not limit to 10, I'm going to have an error because there are some places whereby the quantity is 0. At least the standard quantity is 0. Now, in this case, when Postgre tries to divide by 0, it will generate error because it cannot divide by 0. But we are able to solve that with the help of limit 10. So it won't get to that part. So we'll only do for the first 10, right? So if I remove this limit 10 to see how it works, you will notice division by 0 error, right? Because some part of that, some records in the standard quantity has 0 quantity. And we were able to solve that by saying limit 10. So that it won't get to those places where it has 0, right? Now let us try to use case to avoid that problem of 0. Now to do that, I select my ID column first. Now you use case to check. We say case when. Whenever you use case, it goes with when. So case when the standard quantity is 0 or standard quantity is null. Then you go to then 0. I don't know if you get. When you say case when, you put the condition, then whatever you want it to do, 0. All right. Then the next thing is else. What if it is not that case? Else, then divide the standard quantity. Your case statement must always have end as. This your end as will followed by the column name. All right, let's run this to see how it works. As you can see, I don't need to limit to avoid, even if I remove this limit, it will not still have division by 0 error because I've already used case statement to check when it is 0. So whenever the standard quantity is 0 or whenever the standard quantity is null, then what should it do? It should be 0. Else, if the standard quantity is not 0, then go ahead and divide. Then put this end as unit price. Notice that this column is unit price. That is the name of the column. I can change it by saying unit. If I put unit here, then unit becomes the name of the column. Did you see that? So that is how to use case statements. Any question before we proceed? Any question before we proceed? No questions. Okay, I have just one assessment before I proceed, since everybody seems to understand everything. So what I want us to do, I'll paste the question now. And many of us are actually following. I'll break this down to make it readable. So we want to write a query, all right, to display for each order. What are the things we want? We need the account ID column, the total amount of the order, and the level of the order, right? Let's say we want to group our orders into 2, large or small, right? If the order is $3,000 or more, right? If the order is $3,000 or more, or smaller than $3,000. So whenever the order is more than $3,000, it will be large. When the order is smaller than $3,000, it is small. Bigger than 3,000, large. Smaller than 3,000, small. Can we do that? So we have 2 groups. Let's attempt this, please. I'll just give 2 minutes for that. Are we on call? We don't seem to be excited with all you are doing. Is it hard? I believe we should all be excited to work and get our hands dirty with data.
Sir, sorry, the total amount of orders will be for each of the paper type now, like for poster, gloss and standard, right?
The total, yes, total amount. There's a column called total amount, so it contains the total amount. That it already have all the total amounts of the papers.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
all
sir.
that.
I think I get it now.
All right.
Thanks, sir.
Please reference your schema if you don't understand how the database is structured. The schema is always a go-to when you are finding something challenging with the database. Okay, I think that was Evans that spoke not quite long. Others, are we on it? Ibrahim, Jimo, are we on it, or are just attending the class? Please don't let us just attend the class. This is the one opportunity we shouldn't miss. If you are going to go for this course, you know how much you might be paying. So opportunity comes but once, as they do say. So let's make use of it very well. Fatia, are we here? Are we working? Okay. Once it is 12:39, I'll stop. About time. Testimony, are you working or you are just in the meeting? Many of us are too quiet, and this class is supposed to be an interactive and interesting class, but seem to be disengaged with what we are doing. All right, it's time already. Let's see those that got the answer correctly. Okay, many of you are having challenge loading the PG admin. PG admin sometimes can slow down. You can see I tried to load several times before it even came up. Don't worry, it will load. So this is the solution to that. We need account ID. We need the total amount USD. Those are the two columns we need. Now let's see the third column. Will now be to group whether it's large or small. Now the first case, when total amount USD is greater than 3,000, then it is large. Else, it is small. Of course, you must use end as, then give the column name for others. Let me format this to make it clearer. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Sir, I just got a system. So you should, sir.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
I can hear you.
Hello, sir.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I just got a system. So we saw that point 11. 5, 4. So
Sincerely, I don't know if others
it's not
got
for
what you
me.
said. Your line
Is
is
it that
breaking.
it's not for me only, or not for all? Is it that I should use it? It's
Sincerely,
not for me only, or it's not for all?
it's not for what? I don't know. Your network is breaking. Maybe it's yours, maybe it's mine. I don't know. But I can't hear you.
Can I take the rest?
You know what? Drop your message. Drop a message in the chat. Let me see. I really couldn't get what you're saying. Oh, okay.
I want to try and use the video.
If somebody is getting what, please help me. The network is not good enough to hear what's saying. Or maybe your speaker. Or if you are using mic, or if you are using earpiece, maybe you should remove it because it's kind to the.
I'm using normal Android.
Okay. So what's your question? Let's proceed. I can see someone has done the solution. That's brilliant. That's good. Okay, so that is how to group. We'll further use this as an example. We'll build on it when we get to subquery. So please hold on tight. Those of you that are able to do this. This is the solution. So if I run this query now, as you can see, we have a new column called small. If you scroll down, you see some are large, some are small, as you can see. And those that are larger than 3,000 will be termed large, right? Now, are you not curious to know how many large orders we have, how many small orders we have? We'll come back to that soon. So before then,
This question.
The question is on my.
No.
Okay.
I have
Say,
a question.
You have a question. Okay, go ahead. Ask it.
Yes. Sir, I was wondering, what about those amounts that are equals to 3,000? Was the else statement able to format it?
Those that are equal to 3,000 will still be termed as small. Will be termed as small. Since the condition says greater than 3,000. Do you get? But
Okay,
for
sir.
my
Yes, sir.
question, it says 3,000 or more. So thank you for the correction. That should be equal to here. Do you get? So this will solve the problem now. Can we proceed now? Did you get that? All right. The next on the listing is subqueries. Now, subqueries is just like writing query from query. There are many ways to write query and to write subquery anyway. But we'll start since we don't have much time to go too deep. I will only talk about subquery as a whole. So let's assume I said I'll build on this particular question. Let's assume I want to get all the large order. Let's assume we want to at the end of the year, we want to reward every customers that have ordered large, right? So before we can reward, we need to know how many large orders do we have at the end of the year, perhaps, right? So we will know whether our budget can cater for all the reward or not. So to do that, initially our database does not have this particular column called order. So we generated it by ourselves using the case when. Since we have generated, we can use it to now get all the whole orders. So from here, I will group this like this. I'll remove this since this is not the end of the. You can see this alone becomes a table on its own. The table has three column ID, three column ID, amount USD, and other level. So I want to query from this table now. That is where the sub query is. It came from querying from query. Are we together? Then I will now, I'll query since I've bracketed it, I have to name it table. So I will say as order level. So this particular table, I have named it as order level. Let me since I have order level as a column, let me put another name. Let me say order group. All right, good. So let me now query from inside. I can then say select. Let me format this to go to this side so you can know. So select. What do I want to select? I want to select the account ID, and I want to select the order level. Right? From this particular table we have generated previously, which is this table here. All right? From this, let me run this to see so you can see how. Now you can see all this contains the from this table. Now we want to now filter where the order is large. Then we can then add where order level equal to large. Then I will run this, and I have only large orders. As you can see how I was able to query from my previous query. That is where the word subquery comes from. Are we together? So that is
Yes, sir.
subquery. Good. I might say, okay, I only need all the counts of large. So I can just say count all from this, from my previous query, where order level equals to large. So if I run this, so total I have 1,155 large orders. Oh, the manager might say, okay, we can be able to fund those large orders to reward them. So that is how you can see how we have been able to bring out some analysis from our previous query we wrote. All right. So moving on. Before we move on, do we have questions? Because we are about rounding up. I'm only taking one sample, one example. In the note I will send, there are several examples you can use to work. Please try those assessments before you see the solution. If you only check the solution on it, you might as well just be wasting time, because it has to come from within you. When you make mistake, you will remember why you make mistake and how you were able to solve the mistakes than you just going directly to the solution. And I think I've explained why I'm putting those solutions, because I can't give corrections to everybody one as you are submitting, right? And I don't want you to just feel after you run your maybe when your code runs, that means that it is correct. It might run, but you're generating the wrong query, right? So that is the next I want to do now is to use CTE. What is CTE? CTE simply means common table expression, and it is used to simplified subquery. We can have as many subquery as we want from this particular. We can even use subquery in the join. We can use it to filter. Are we together? So what I will do now, I will answer um this same question using CTE, using common table expression. So you just comment this out. So to write a CTE first, we use the with command. Right? Then we put our name. Let's say the name of the subquery. I'll say order group with order group as, let me get to the question first. Okay, with order group as, then you go like this, and you now write your query. Since you have done it before, I'll just copy this, the way we solved it. Take notes. What we have done here now is just to write the same query we wrote, get the account ID, total amount USD. Then we use the case to check whether it is large order or small order. Then from, right, let me return this back so it can be well formatted. Good. So now that we have written the city, one benefit of city is that I can write this once and then use it as many times as I want. So then if I want to query now, I can now query from this. So what do we want to do? We want to get all the orders that are only large. This particular query here is called common table expression, and it is used to filter or to group large orders. So now let me now
Hello.
query. Go ahead. I can't hear you. Hello?
Like
Can't
I'm
hear
saying
you.
people in the group chat.
You sent you the group chat. Okay, let
I'm
me just
saying
check and see.
in the group.
I've snapped it and sent it today.
I typed it.
Okay. To the group chat, I'll check it now. I'll check it now. I'll check it. I think ACL is responding already. I don't know. Is already responding to that. Should be able to attend.
Okay, sir.
ACL will respond to that anyway. So let's proceed so we can. It's almost time to round up. But we are already at the. Now let's select what we want. So let's say I want to select all from now. What's the name of the table we've created? Order group. Then I can then say where order level. Don't forget the name of where the column that is saving is order level. So where order level equals to large. All right. If I run this, we have the same output. Oh, I spelled this wrong. Large, L-A-R-G-E. So you can see we still have the same result, but this is more well formatted and explanatory than subquery. You might this particular one subquery we wrote here might look simple for now, but if you are doing more sophisticated work, subquery can be anywhere. It can be in the select, it can be in the where, it can be in some other places you may not even expect, right? So, and sometimes it can even be in the join. So this might not be writing subquery like this might not be readable enough to you yourself and to other people who are reading your code. So the best thing is to use the common table expression by just first of all creating a table that saves the group, then now selecting from that particular table, which is called order group. So this will give us this. And we can then use count as well. You can say count, or let's see if we're still going to have the same answer as before. You can see we still have 1,955. So this is what we called CTE, common table expression. It is used to, it's very similar to subquery, but it is clearer in reading than subquery. Questions before we round up. Evans, what's the issue? I saw your emoji. Is there any issue? Okay. Since there's no question, I believe you all understand what we are talking about. I have a question for you, then we round up. Just copy and paste one assessments. You are free to either use CTE or sub query, anyone that is convenient to you. So the question says, what is the lifetime average amount spent? Okay, this might be a little bit complicated. Let me find something easier. All right, this might be simple and straightforward to those that understand what we are doing. So the question says, let me paste it here. So provide the name of the sales rep in each region, the name of the sales rep in each region with the largest amount of total amount USD sales. The name of the sales rep in each amount. Let's use the remaining time to actually get to it and see if we can tax our brain to some tax, to do some tax. The name of the sales rep in each region with the largest amount USD. That is the sales rep that have largest amount in each region. Don't forget, each sales rep is assigned to some regions, right? So want to find this sales rep who has the largest amount in this region. This sales rep has the largest amount in this region. Let's see how to do that quickly. Who is on it? I know some of us are on it. Why some of us are confused? All right. Testimony, you joined so late. Sorry, today is the last day for SQL class, so I'm starting spreadsheets from next week. All right. Let me know who's on it so I won't be wasting my time on. I won't give the solution to that. I'll allow you to think. Toluwani praise. Are you on it? Some of us are just quiet here. Is it that we don't know what we are talking about, or Oluwada, I see? What about you? Okay, it's already 1 o'clock. I don't think we are attempting that. Since there is no question, I will round up my class and send the tax. I will not send the solution this time around. Because many of you are you're only just going straight to the solution. I need you to think. Sometimes having error is also a good way to learn. Because you will always remember why you had that error. In the next 1 minute, I'll end this call. Since there's no question, I'm not giving solution to that. Let's think till we get it right. And the question is so simple and straightforward, though. So just get each sales rep, each region that has the largest amount, that is where that make the most amount there from each region. So take note, we are not querying from one table. Somebody was typing. Okay, I don't think the person has a question anymore. If there is no question, I'd like to end the meeting now. So thank you all for joining. If you have further question or you while attempting the question you don't get it, feel free to drop it to the group to let others too learn by helping you. Or you also help others too. You will also, as you're helping others too, you also learn and add to your experience. That might even be what you need at your workspace. Or perhaps many of you that are already working as an analyst or that are
Someone like me, I need to.
hello? Hello. Let's round up. So see you next class when we begin our spreadsheet. Have a nice afternoon.